This is a 30-minute layered flow, which will give us both opportunities to hold postures while we build integrity in them, and opportunities to move with our breath. We will begin in child's pose, starting here to focus on the breath in and out through the nose. And perhaps lifting up onto the fingertips, feeling a lift beneath your palms, your wrists, your forearms, up into the shoulders. Begin to feel the wrap of your upper outer arms toward the ground. And let's follow your next inhale up into table. Tuck your toes and take the entire duration of your exhale back into down dog. And we'll begin our first fold here. So as we integrate new poses into our flow today, we'll hold them for 4 to 5 breaths. So maybe move a bit as you settle in and then start to find stillness. Feel the steadiness of your breath as you root down into your hands and your feet. And feel a long lift all the way up through the arms and the torso. A lift all the way up through the legs. And then follow your next inhale down into table. And exhale back into child's pose. Inhale, come on up into table. Exhale into downward facing dog. And then inhale into plank pose for our hold. If you feel like you need some extra support today, take your knees down to the ground. Allow the energy to press back through the heels as your sternum, your chest pulls forward. And feel a lengthening through your low back, tailbone gently lengthening toward your heels, but not tucking under. Front ribs hugging toward each other, belly button towards spine. And then with your exhale, we'll take hips to the sky, down dog. Inhale into table. Exhale into child's pose. Inhale, rise up to table. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank, and we will hold in chaturanga this time. So use the knees if they can be helpful. Shoulders no lower than the elbows. Sternum pulling forward. Legs are super active. Heels are pressing toward one another. Thighs are hugging toward one another. Tailbone toward heels. And then take it back to plank. Exhale to down dog. Inhale to table. And exhale, child's pose. Inhale, rise to table. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, back bend of your choice to hold. So keeping those legs super active, just as active as they were in chaturanga. Belly is softly engaged to support the low back, and then your sternum is lifting. Shoulders are pulling apart from one another, shoulder blades toward one another. Lifting up through the crown of the head. And then your exhale will take you all the way back into downward facing dog. Inhale to table. Exhale to child's pose. And then we'll flow that with our breath one time. Inhale, come on up into table. The entire duration of your exhale to head back to down dog. The entire inhale to come forward to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, back bend. And exhale, downward facing dog. Once you arrive there, we'll just start to walk feet to hands, maybe hands to feet a little bit, whatever feels most comfortable for you. We'll end up in our standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, fingertips wherever that's most comfortable. Exhale, fold right back in. Inhale, rise on up to chair pose. And we'll head into a round of Surya Namaskar B. So exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step to plank or jump to chaturanga. And then complete the vinyasa into your back bend. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right foot to the sky, step it forward, come up for warrior one, heel to heel alignment. And then with your next exhale, hands come right back down. We'll step to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, back bend, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale brings the left foot to the sky and then all the way forward up into warrior one. Exhale, hands to the floor. Plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga. Back bend on your inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. And we'll settle here for just a few breaths. settling right back into that stillness. Inhale, let's take your right foot to the sky and then step it forward between your hands. We're going to start to build our layered flow here. So we'll come on up into crescent pose and we'll settle for a few breaths. Feel the balance between your front and your back foot. Feel your tailbone lengthening toward the ground. Pelvis is neutral. And feel a lift all the way up through the ribs. Let's turn your palms out, crisscross your wrists. And we're going to lean over toward the right, keeping that back leg really strong. Adding length and space through the left side of your rib cage, out through that outer left shoulder. And then tip it right back to center. Uncross the palms, press the palms together normally now, and we'll come into revolved crescent pose. So potentially left elbow outside of the thigh with the hands in prayer, but you might open the arms into a T shape if you prefer. Lifting through that left hip, pressing back through the left heel, allowing the twist to happen from the waist up through the shoulders. And then exhale, hands to the floor, vinyasa of your choice. So between these sequences, you can flow, plank, chaturanga, back bend to down dog, or any other set of movements that helps you to reconnect with the breath and neutralize for a bit. We'll get the other side. Left foot rises on the inhale. Bring it forward for crescent pose and rise. We'll settle for a few breaths, just focusing on the shape, your alignment, the energy of it. Noticing the low back, the energy through your waist, up through the fingertips and the arms. And then we'll crisscross the wrists with the palms turned outwards. Lean over toward the left for that side bend. Keep the back leg nice and strong. Deep, steady breath. And then we'll come back to center, uncross the wrists, bring the palms to press, and we'll take right elbow or right arm outside of left thigh, depending on the option that you prefer. And instead of focusing on the rotation here, focus on the line of energy from your back heel through your sternum and the crown of your head, that axis through your body, and then allow the rotation to happen at the waist. Broad through the shoulders. Exhale, hands to the floor, vinyasa of your choice. We'll meet up in downward facing dog, spending a few breaths there before we flow through those 3 postures again with our breath, and then add on a couple more. So when you're ready, we'll inhale and take your right foot to the sky. Exhale, bring it forward for crescent pose, and we'll inhale to rise up. Palms turn out, wrists cross. Exhale, lean to the right. Inhale, come to center. Bring the hands down to prayer as you lean forward. Left elbow outside of right thigh. Exhale. And then look at the ground. Step your left leg forward to meet the right for revolved chair pose. As we make this transition now and in the future, you're welcome to ditch the twist, step to chair, and then add it back in. Knees are even. Left hip is pulling back, right hip descending. Long from tailbone through crown of head. Inhale, untwist, reach the sky, Utkatasana chair pose. Settling here for a few breaths. Trying to lift the shoulder blades away from the low back, away from the waist. And then let's put your weight into the right foot. We're going to fly the left leg back. Arms are going to reach back for that back foot, airplane pose. And if you prefer a different arm variation, feel free to take hands forward or at heart. Back leg is active. Toes are pointing straight down on your left foot. Outer right hip is hugging in. And then we'll slowly bend your right knee, step back to crescent, and flow it out. Vinyasa of your choosing, meeting up in downward facing dog. And we'll move that to the other side. Left foot rises on your inhale. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, rise up. Crisscross the wrist, palms turn out. We'll lean to the left as you exhale. Inhale back to center. Hands come to prayer. We'll lean forward and twist on your exhale. And then look at the ground. Weight puts into that left foot. Right leg comes to meet it. Revolved chair pose to settle. So on this side, your left hip moves back. Your right hip moves down. You're revolving from the waist up. Chest is moving toward the thumbs of your prayed hands. Gaze is wherever the neck is comfortable. Deep breath into the belly. Let's inhale, untwist, Utkatasana chair pose. Weight is in the heels. Toes could dance or wave hi to you. And you should be able to see your toes over the knees. And then let's put the weight into the left foot. Right leg starts to fly back. Airplane or warrior 3. Choose your hand option. And even though you can't really see that back leg, don't lose connection to it. That right leg is active. Toes are pointing down. Foot is flexed. Breath is steady. Face is soft. And then drop it back into crescent and release with a vinyasa of your choice. Once we settle into down dog, we'll repeat those with our breath and then add on a couple more. So when you're ready, we'll inhale right foot to the sky. You could hop switch to get that right foot forward or just simply step it between your hands. With your inhale, we'll lift up crescent, palms turn out, wrist cross. Exhale, lean to the right. Inhale, right back up. Hands in prayer as you exhale, left elbow outside of right knee. Revolve chair on the inhale. Untwist, reach the sky, chair pose. And then warrior 3 on the right leg. We'll slowly step back into warrior 2 now. So just make sure that front knee and your front toes are pointing straight forward. Weight is even between the 2 feet, and you're neither leaning forward nor back. So both sides of your waist are even. Gaze is down that front middle finger. And then let's keep the legs just as they are. Reverse your warrior. Left hand down the back leg. Right arm reaching up and back. Lengthening through the right waist, the right ribs, the right outer shoulder. Keeping weight actively pressing into the front foot as well as the back foot. And then we'll windmill hands to the ground. Lift the back heel. Crescent pose with your fingertips down. Helping us to focus even that much more on the energy of the back leg and getting low into that front thigh. Right shin pulling back, right hip pulling back, left hip pressing forward. And then we'll plant the hands, round that upper back just enough to get your right foot off the ground, and then vinyasa, maybe with the one-legged option, maybe keep both feet on the ground. Once we've met up in downward facing dog, left leg will rise. Hop switch or simple step, left foot between the hands. We'll rise to crescent, palms turn out, wrists cross, lean to the left on the exhale. Inhale, come to center. We'll prayer the hands, exhale, twist. Look at the ground, step your right foot to meet your left. And then untwist, chair pose. Into warrior 3 on that left leg, your arm variation of choice. With a careful, slow step back into warrior 2, allowing that front leg the opportunity to externally rotate, checking in with the knee and the toes. Back foot is just slightly angled in. And then check in with the distribution of weight, the length up the sides of your waist. Keep the legs just as they are. Let's reverse your warrior. Backhand on the back leg, but not putting very much weight on the back leg, just sort of a guide. And then with your next exhale, we'll windmill hands to the floor, let the back heel lift. Fingertips are just barely on the ground. Legs are strong. Feeling neutrality in the low back and the pelvis. And then we'll begin to plant the hands, press the ground away, hug your left knee into the chest, pull the foot off the ground, and vinyasa transition of your choice. Meeting up again in downward facing dog. So we have one more add-on into the sequence. So we'll take your right foot to the sky, inhale. Again, hop switch or simple step. Come up to crescent on your inhale. Wrists cross as your palms turn out. Exhale, lean to the right. Inhale, bring it back up. Hands to prayer. Exhale, twist. Step to revolve chair. And then untwist, chair pose. Warrior 3 on your right leg. Slowly dropping into Warrior 2. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, fingers to the floor, crescent pose. We'll flatten your left hand down into the ground, spin your right hand to the sky. And you can stay here for the entire hold, or you can start to prepare for side plank. So pressing the ground away with that left hand. Upper outer left arm, just kind of at the base of the armpit there, starts to hug in. And then if you'd like to take that right leg on top of the left for side plank or into a kickstand, you can start to head there. If you'd prefer just to stay in that lunge with the left hand down, stay there. Getting broad through the arms, actively reaching through both arms. Legs are hugging toward each other. And then we'll bring that right leg back forward into the lunge, hands to the sky on the inhale. Settling here for your hold. Maybe noticing how crescent pose has evolved as you've started to build heat, build strength, and open things. And then we'll take that left leg around when you're ready for eagle pose. So it's left leg on top, left arm on bottom. And then sit as deep as your body's comfortable with. Hips are square, shoulders are square. Arms are off the shelf of the chest, elbows in line with shoulders. And then we'll unwrap, stand up, mountain pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And we'll make our way back to downward facing dog in a way that serves you and helps you to stay connected with your practice. When you're ready, left foot to the sky, inhale. Hop switch or simple step forward. We'll rise up, crescent pose. Cross the wrists, lean to the left, exhale. Inhale, right back up, hands to prayer. Exhale, twist in your lunge. We'll step your right foot to meet your left, revolve chair pose. And then inhale, Utkatasana chair pose. We'll put the weight into the left leg, Warrior 3. And then a careful step back into Warrior 1. Set your legs, inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, lift the back heel, hands, fingertips come down to the floor, and then we'll flatten your right hand into the ground. Lift that left arm up toward the sky. Press the ground away through your right palm. Start to firm that right arm for side plank. And then if you'd like to play with some side plank, start to take that left leg back to stack on top of the right, or any variation that you'd like. Keep your hips lifting away from the ground. Getting as broad through the arms as possible. Feeling as though through activity in your body, you can actually lift weight out of that bottom arm. And then left leg will step forward when you're ready. Rise up, crescent pose for a hold. Checking in with the breath. And then when you're ready, we'll step that right foot forward and around for eagle pose. So it'll be right leg on top, right arm on bottom. Checking in with the hips and the shoulders, making sure that neither is rotated. Both sides of the waist evenly long. Sit down as deeply as you'd like. And then we'll unravel, stand tall, mountain pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And make your journey back to downward facing dog. So once we found down dog, we're going to flow that entire sequence one more time, no holds. We'll take right foot to the sky on the inhale, bring it forward for crescent in your own way. We'll rise up, cross the palms, exhale, lean to the right, inhale, rise. Hands to prayer, we'll twist on the exhale and then step your left foot into revolved chair. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, Warrior 3 on that right leg. And then drop into Warrior 2. Reverse your warrior, just follow your breath. And then windmill hands to the floor. Your left hand will stay planted, right hand to the sky, possibly a side plank. And then right leg comes right back forward. We lift up, crescent pose. Eagle pose when you're ready. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, make the journey back, downward facing dog. Once you've found down dog, we'll inhale left foot to the sky. Bring it forward for crescent pose. Rise up, cross the wrists, lean to the left on your exhale. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, prayer the hands, twist. Right leg steps to meet the left, revolved chair. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, warrior 3 on the left leg. Warrior 2. Reverse your warrior. And then exhale, hands to the floor. Your right hand will plant, left hand to the sky. Stay here or step to side plank for a breath. And then that left leg will make its journey right back forward. We'll rise to crescent. Find your balance. Allow that right leg to swing around, eagle pose. When you're ready, we'll unravel, reach up, and then dive forward into Uttanasana to relax for a little bit. Let the body dangle, let the head dangle. Maybe sway or bounce a little bit. Just reverse the torso's relationship with gravity for a couple breaths. And then we'll start to scooch the feet out wide, toes out, heels in. We'll drop down for Malasana squat. If you need to stay lifted higher, you can come down into just like a half squat, thighs parallel to the ground. And then let your hands come to heart if that works in your body. Maybe stay there. If you want to twist a little bit, take your right arm out to the side, left arm up to the sky. And then switch, left arm reaching out, right arm up. And then we'll come back to center. Stay there if you're happy, or maybe plant the hands shoulder width apart, knees to the back of the arms, and start to play with finding your crow pose. And if you come into the arm balance, stay for a few breaths. Try to not just come into it and then immediately come out, but hold and breathe. Work on the endurance of the shape. And then however it works best, maybe jump back through a vinyasa, maybe step back, and we'll head into down dog. And then from your down dog, we're going to come forward, lower down onto your belly. Let's bend the knees for bow pose. You could take locust instead if you prefer just to reach the legs back. Flex the feet, pull the knees to hip width apart. And then using the power of your legs, start to press the feet or the ankles back into your hands. Lift your chest away from the ground. Make sure you're hugging front ribs toward each other and a very gentle tug of your belly button towards your spine so that your low back is supported here. But feel the belly expanding into the floor as you inhale. And then with an exhale, go ahead and release. We're going to immediately just press right on up to your shins. Similar shape, but different variation of it. So bow pose on your belly and then camel pose on your shins. So we'll take a couple breaths sitting on the heels just to prepare. And then when you're ready, rise on up, hips over knees. Your toes can be tucked under or untucked. Hands can be on low back or backs of thighs or heels. Instead of focusing on how deep you can get the hands, focus more on how much length and lift you can have through the thighs, through the hips and the low back, all the way up into the chest and the upper back. Feel the shoulder blades pulling softly toward each other and in toward the chest. Try to keep the hips over the knees and not leaning back. And then very slowly we'll start to roll up. Chin's the last thing that comes into the chest. We'll sit back onto the heels. Take a few breaths here. And let's come down onto our backs. Bend the knees, place the feet on the ground, and then we'll take your right ankle over the left thigh. You could stay right there. You can begin to hug the legs in toward you, grabbing left thigh or left shin. Let the back of your body start to get heavy into the ground. And then option for reclined pigeon here as well. So if you want to stay with thread the needle, hugging the legs in, that's great. Or you can start to forklift or hold your right shin like a baby and release that left leg out onto the ground, either bent or straight or somewhere in between. Just make sure the shoulders and the head can relax back onto the ground in whatever shape you've chosen to be in. And allow the body to start to settle into stillness, into softness. Allow the body to feel supported by the ground beneath it. And we'll begin to bend that bottom leg back in if it's released. Right ankle to left thigh. We'll open the arms in line with the shoulders and we'll take sleeping pigeon twist. So we'll let the legs drop to the left. Your outer left thigh will be on the ground. Your right foot will be on the floor. And you're just over time gradually letting that right knee drift away from your head. Your right low back won't touch the floor, but just let it get heavy like it could. Let both shoulders get heavy into the ground. And then with a slow inhale, we'll bring legs back to center. Let the legs keep crossing further over each other. Reclined Gomukhasana, and you can bring the knees into the chest, reach down, grab onto ankles or shins, maybe feet, whatever is grabbable. And just pull the legs toward the ground and slightly apart from one another. You might not be able to see it in the video, but you're basically trying to get knees to line up and bottom parts of your legs to kick out to the side. And then release. Take feet up toward the sky. Support the backs of your thighs with your hands. Maybe point and flex the feet a couple times. And then when you're ready, we'll bend the knees and start over again. So left ankle over right thigh. Right foot on the ground is option 1. You could even just push into the upper thighs a little bit for some low back decompression. Option 2 is legs hugged into the torso, grabbing right thigh or right shin. And then if your hip feels pretty good here, after you've spent a couple breaths relaxing into this shape, you could forklift that left leg or wrap that left shin like a baby, like you're holding a baby, putting the left foot into your right elbow crease and the left knee into the left elbow crease. Releasing the right leg and let that right leg settle bent or straight onto the floor. Picking a depth that allows you to relax and to breathe deeply and steadily. And we'll gradually begin to bend the bottom leg. Left ankle will return to the right thigh if it's left. We'll drop arms out in line with shoulders and sleeping pigeon twist to the right. So legs will fall to the right. Outer right thigh on the ground, left foot staying on the floor. Left knee drifting away from the torso. Left low back and outer hip getting heavy toward the ground. And then we'll bring the legs back up to center. Let the knees keep crossing. Gomukhasana on your back. Holding on to whatever part of the low leg you can grab. Knees coming into the chest. Bottom legs coming apart from one another. And then we'll slowly release the cross of the legs. Let the feet come back up toward the sky. Support your thighs with your hands. Get any little movements out of your body that you'd like. And then we'll bend knees into the chest. Maybe grab onto the feet. Roll yourself up into a tiny little ball. And when you're ready for Shavasana, we'll just stretch on out. Feel free to take some time to add any remaining movement or shape into your practice that you'd like. And then just get comfortable. Allow the body to be set up in such a way that all of the muscles, large and small, can relax. All of the muscles can melt into the support of the ground beneath your body. And the breath can flow freely without conscious thought, without effort. Do your best to anchor the mind in the moment, not yet allowing the brain to move on to what comes next. Just being here, moment by moment, breath by breath. If you can stay longer, please do. Enjoying this sweet Shavasana. But this is the end of our time together and this video. Thank you for practicing. Have a wonderful day, yogis. Namaste.